We have inherited a specific image of the Spartan warrior, stoic, marble-carved, and seemingly invincible. But the state that produced him functioned less like a heroic ideal and more like a society constantly bracing for an internal collapse. In the 8th century BCE, the Spartan homeland of Laconia reached a breaking point. The soil was poor, and the growing population was rapidly outstripping the local food supply. To avoid mass starvation, the Spartan military pushed over the jagged peaks of the Taygetos Mountains to invade the fertile plains of neighboring Messenia. By seizing that land, they secured their food, but they also inherited a permanent problem, a massive, conquered population that lived among them as enemies. These captives became known as Helots, a workforce of agricultural laborers who were owned by the state. The sheer scale of the conquest created a demographic crisis. 10,000 Spartan citizens were now attempting to control 100,000 Helots. Maintaining a 10-to-1 ratio required a level of constant domestic force that most other Greek city-states never had to consider. This imbalance dictated the development of Spartan culture. Every law they passed and every social norm they established was a direct response to this 10-to-1 margin. To manage this, Sparta enacted radical laws. Full citizens were legally forbidden from engaging in trade, business, or performing any manual labor whatsoever. Those tasks were shifted entirely onto the Helots, who were forced to work the estates and generate the state's food supply. This created a parasitic economic structure. The ruling class produced zero material goods for themselves. Instead, they relied entirely on mass slavery. Removing all agricultural duties freed up a citizen's time for mandatory, lifelong military training. The engine supporting this lifestyle sat in the agricultural plains of Messenia. The logistics were cold and precise. Helots lived on state-owned plots and were forced to surrender strictly calculated quotas of their barley, oil, and wine. Those collected quotas were funneled directly into the Syssitia, the communal military mess halls where every Spartan citizen was required to eat. If we map this extraction, we can see the Helot population acting as a battery. The wide base of agricultural calories is captured and converted into the focused output of a professional army. Without that exact, ruthless caloric transfer, the famed Spartan fighting force mathematically ceases to exist. They would have been forced to put down their spears and farm. But living alongside that many captives meant Sparta was a state paralyzed by the fear of its own servants. This had a specific consequence for their military strategy. The most feared army in Greece almost never ventured far from its borders. If the main force marched too far away, the workforce back home would inevitably revolt. The most feared military in the ancient world was effectively held hostage by the very system that provided its food. To maintain control and prevent those uprisings, Sparta relied on a covert institution known as the Krypteia. The system operated on a specific legal loophole. Every autumn, the Spartan magistrates formally declared war on their own Helot population. By framing the situation as an active conflict, the state allowed its citizens to kill enslaved workers without breaking domestic laws or risking religious pollution. Under this declaration, elite young Spartans were sent into the countryside armed only with daggers. They hid during the day and moved at night, ordered to hunt and assassinate any Helot who showed physical strength or signs of leadership. This violence was highly calculated. By targeting the most capable individuals, the Krypteia routinely culled the population to keep the demographic equation from overflowing into organized resistance. The precision and discipline of the Spartan military were not a testament to liberty. They were the byproduct of a society that turned itself into a prison just to survive, waging a continuous war against its